Hello and welcome to Sarcastic Spinster, a PC-free zone, where I question the behavior of the minions of the Pussy Hat Goddess, aka the women's movement, because love her or hate her, we need to understand her. And what I have discovered today, much to my surprise, not. She's a big ol' friggin' hypocrite. And the minions of the Pussy Hat Goddess, the hypocrisy they have displayed today has been downright disgusting. So, explosive devices or suspected explosive devices or some packages were sent to Hillary Clinton, and Eric Holder was one of them, I heard, and Obama was one I heard, and there had previously been something delivered to George Soros. All of the ones today were captured by the Secret Service, and I'm going to say this is never acceptable. This is not how we handle things. That is not appropriate. But the response to this from the minions of the Pussy Hat Goddess was so hypocritical that, I mean, I'd swear at some point flames actually shot out my ears and eyes and the top of my head. It was so blatant, completely ignoring all of the shit that has been going on for the last 2 fucking years against the Republicans, all of the violence in the streets, the shooting at the baseball field. Remember that? Some guy walks in with a gun and just wants to start shooting Republicans. They, ignore that, ignore all of the other crap that's going on, and they want to talk about Trump's rhetoric. And the two biggest hypocrites that I saw for the Pussy Hat Goddess were Bette Midler and Alyssa Milano. Chelsea Handler was in there too. But of course, she's so unimaginative. How was that woman ever a comedian when she's so completely lacking in imagination? I just don't understand that. But she doesn't have the imagination to be an effective hypocrite. Chuck Schumer was a hypocrite, but you expect Chuck Schumer to be a hypocrite. Joe Biden was a hypocrite. Dianne Feinstein, Mazie Hirono, crazy Mazie. Yeah, she's, big old hypocrite. But it really was blatant for Bette Midler and Alyssa Milano. And I'm just going to start with Bette Midler. So here's what Bette Midler tweeted out. She had 2 tweets, and they were, the first one that she sent was, "What's happening is all the hate and divisiveness being sowed by the person in the White House and his surrogates is coming to a head, and people are in mortal danger. There will be blood on his hands." This is what she sends out to her 1.48 million Twitter followers. And then just a little bit later, she sends out, "I heard Mr. Trump say these kinds of violent acts have no place in America. I want to believe him, and I pray that he can set aside his usual rhetoric and find it in his heart to protect and defend even those with whom he does not agree, for the sake of the country we all love." Sounds good. Well, she's getting that dig in there. Set aside his usual rhetoric. Well, let's look at some of Bette's usual rhetoric, shall we? So here are some things even just in the last couple of days that Bette Midler has said. So, Ted Cruz is a creep with no spine, no decency, and no honor. He will stoop to lick the boots of scum. He climbs into bed with #CousinIt, #Don the Con Trump, after he called Ted's wife a hag, Nice going. 2 assholes. No waiting, Texas. Vote for a human. Vote for Beto. So Ted Cruz and Donald Trump are not human because, of course, back to the old, she is so right and so morally superior to you that you are less than human for daring to disagree with her. But nothing insightful at all about that, is there, Bet? Nothing that's going to upset anybody. No, why would anybody be upset because you're calling somebody unhuman? And there's nothing at all wrong with referring to our president as Cousin It or Don the Con. Let's see what else Bet has had to say as she preaches to us about the president's rhetoric, because he has a little thing with name calling. You attack him, he's going to attack you back. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, here's today's tiny distraction. There's transgenders among us. Surprise. And what does she call him? At hashtag dump Trump wants to make sure. Well, he's not sure what, but he'll figure it out soon. Meanwhile, the world is coming under siege from murderers, plunderers like him. Okay, so now she's calling the president a murderer and a plunderer. And she's going to lecture the rest of us on controlling our fucking rhetoric. Shut the fuck up, Bet. Okay, that's not all, though. That's not all. Let's see. And if you can remember, hashtag Chump Trump getting some half-ass award from King Salman of Saudi Arabia, then remember this: 15 of the 19 hijackers who flew planes into the World Trade Center were Saudi Arabians. These are our friends. So now she is implying that Trump is actually complicit in the attacks on 9/11 because he's engaging in diplomacy with Saudi Arabia. Okay, so it's not enough to call him a racist and a Nazi and a bigot and a misogynist, and to call everybody who doesn't hate him with you racists, bigots, Nazis. But it's his rhetoric that's the problem, right? Right, Bet? It's his rhetoric that's the problem. Let's see what else she's had to say. Okay. Trump's closest pals have poisoned citizens, dismembered journalists, and executed people with rocket launchers. This week, Trump said Montana's GOP congressman was my kind of guy for assaulting a reporter. Welcome to the club, you lightweight. That was really productive now, wasn't it? That's going to dial down the tensions in the country, isn't it, Bet? Sending that out to your 1.48 million followers. Sure, but increases in violence are all on him, and you've got nothing to do with it. If rhetoric matters even when it's yours. And let's just, have a look at what some of her followers have tweeted in response to some of this stuff. We need to state clearly that Trump, along with his budding National Fascist Party, have created this toxic brew. He should resign for the good of the nation, a nation which he is unfit to serve. He's a sociopath, not able to feel empathy or compassion. He has a rally tonight, so watch him rile up his base with more fear and hate. He is getting what he wanted all along. He has inspired his base to this type of violence. Time will tell who was responsible for these dastardly deeds, but you have to agree that it is the natural progression from name-calling, bullying, and encouraging violence. So, natural progression to all that, is it? Hey, I guess that's why Steve Scalise got shot on the baseball field. I guess that's why General Kelly was sent ricin in an envelope. Hear about that on the news? No, they barely covered it. I guess that's why Susan Collins was sent a mysterious white powder in an envelope after her vote to confirm Kavanaugh. I guess that's why Antifa is rioting in the streets of Portland and the cops aren't doing anything about it. I guess that's why the minion of the Pussycat Goddess, a man, roundhouse kicked a woman to the stomach just for being pro-life. I guess that's why the congressional offices of Republicans have been vandalized and had stones thrown through their windows and had graffiti sprayed all over them. I guess that's why Rand Paul has been attacked twice and was put in the hospital. I guess that's why death threats have been being phoned into all the Republicans, because of your fucking rhetoric. And you're gonna sit there and preach about what he's saying, especially because Trump is an answer to you, to everybody on your side of the aisle who have been calling middle America racist, bigots, misogynists for over a fucking decade. The first time I got called a racist for being a Republican was during the Clinton administration. But yeah, all of this is on Trump. Bull fucking shit. You should be ashamed of yourself, Bet. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. And if you're not taking a good long look in the mirror and reevaluating the hate and ugliness that you spew all over Twitter, then God save your soul. Now, next is Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano, who is doing very morally superior, simple tweets of words matter. Yeah, words matter, Alyssa. It mattered that you fucking called Brett Kavanaugh a rapist over and over and over and over and over again, even though he was never actually accused of rape. Words matter. And you are not one to be able to talk about condemning violence with any moral authority at all after that stunt you pulled with the big old huge mob chasing people down hallways, banging on the doors of the Supreme Court building, forcing their way into elevators, screaming from the rafters, saying that women are going back to the 50s, that men are going to be able to rape with impunity, and just throwing everything completely out of proportion and creating a whole hell of a lot of hate and fear for no goddamn reason. You are a hypocrite, a big one. You should be ashamed of yourself. You won't be, because you won't see it, because you're a blind minion who can't look at anything from any perspective but her own, and is completely blind to the fact that she is now looking for men to solve her problem by creating the "it's on us" that, oh, in order to help women, we have to control men. So you don't have the moral authority to stand on this one. You don't. So this super condescending, words matter. Yes, they do, Alyssa. And yours matter. And yours matter when you are constantly telling us that we are misogynists. That you are when you are constantly telling anybody who isn't willing to believe all women and put that above due process and the rule of law, a hateful person who is trying to destroy women, those words matter. I am not excusing whatever happened, to whoever did this. Whoever sent those bombs. I hope they are caught, and I hope they are prosecuted to the full extent of the law. However, I can't help but remember that all of the racial violence and racial graffiti that suddenly propped up immediately after Trump's election that everybody was blaming on the right was actually done by the left. So I'm not going to, as some others are doing, automatically assume that it was somebody on the left who sent these and made sure that they would go through and be captured by Secret Service and never get to their intended target. But I have to acknowledge that it is actually a possibility based on past history. So it could very well be somebody on the right. I'm not going to say it's not. It very well could be somebody who is sick and fucking tired of being bullied by the left. And now, mind you, let's see. What did Eric Holder recently say? When they go low, we don't go high. When they go low, we kick them. And what did Hillary Clinton say? Hillary Clinton said basically that civility will return when they get what they want. So that this current incivility is going to continue, and the screaming protests in the streets and the calling people names and attacking people is all going to continue until they get what they want. Now, what did Obama say? I don't know that Obama has weighed in on anything like that recently or not. I know he went and spoke at a rally and talked about his truthfulness while spewing the whole shitload of lies. But I don't understand why anybody would target those three particular people who are no longer in power. What would be the point of that? So that again makes it all just a little suspicious. But I hope we find out, and I hope they are prosecuted. Whoever they are, whether they're on the right or the left, they need to be prosecuted, because this is absolutely unacceptable. And Antifa's behavior is absolutely unacceptable. The vandalization of the congressional offices, whether Republican or Democrat, is unacceptable. And the language of Bette Midler is unacceptable. And the hypocrisy of Bette Midler is unacceptable. And the mob tactics of Alyssa Milano are unacceptable. So don't act like a big old huge bully, and feel free to call everybody you disagree with the most vile names and allow violence against them with your silence, because I haven't seen either of you speak out against any of this. So to now come out and blame Trump for it, fuck you. That's my rant for the day. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to like, share, comment below. Consider subscribing if you would. It would make me really feel nice. So, #PussyHatGoddess. Something to think about.